What's your strategy when it comes to recruiting? You know, when I think about this place, you're in Pennsylvania, where it's a great recruiting base, but it's also a place everyone comes to recruit, right? You're competing with schools all over the country. This region, Pittsburgh, has historically had a lot of really good players. How do you kind of balance having to keep kids home, and then what's your strategy going national?
Yeah, I mean, we want to try to keep as many local guys here, Pittsburgh guys, Northeast Ohio guys, Jersey guys as we can, but we want to stay in our backyard, which we consider Pennsylvania, obviously, state of Ohio, New Jersey, New York, and then the DMV. Really, I mean, that's our the drivable places where recruits can be here for a game on a September Saturday, or just get here for a spring practice. And then we're gonna skip over to Carolinas unless there's a connection there, and head down to Georgia and Florida, and not try to recruit too much. My basic philosophy is go in a few places and be really good in that area. Yeah. There's nothing worse than trying to spread yourself so thin as a staff and not recruiting the really good football players. I mean, if you try to hey, you have the whole state of Georgia, like, how's that guy going to recruit the whole state of Georgia by himself? It's just hard to do. We've got enough people in the state of Pennsylvania. We don't want to miss on anybody that we really, really want. I mean, may appear that we missed on somebody, but maybe we didn't. It's like
no one really knows.
We make those decisions. We know in here what our thoughts are. We do a great job evaluating the talent, I think, and whether it's in-person talent at a camp or a practice in high school, but just doing a good job evaluating those kids in every aspect of their lives, not just on the field. And that's you want guys that are programmed, guys that are going to come here and develop and get better, and that's kind of been our philosophy.
You mentioned the evaluation process. What is the evaluation process here, and how much? I'm always interested to hear how schools deal with offers, and are you approving every offer? Does that go up the chain like that? How do you guys handle that?
It's a great question, and it's funny. I had an ACC coach say, "How did you have 6 guys drafted and that many free agents? Like, how are you doing it?" Yeah. And I said to him, and again, I won't mention his name. I said to him, "Do you watch every single player that the coaches want to offer?" And he says, "I'm starting to watch more," and I'm like, "Well, that's a problem for me." Like, I would have a hard time sitting in this closing room, as you call it, and closing on a guy that I haven't watched his tape. Like, how do I talk and have a serious conversation about what he can do at Pitt? Every player that walks through this program, I have watched. And again, it goes up through a whole write-up on each one of these kids. It's computerized. I can go back and look 10 years ago at what we thought of a kid. And sometimes we make mistakes. Man, we didn't like that kid. He turned out to be an all-pro in the NFL. Like, okay, we make mistakes. Yeah. But we've always had that feeling that, hey, don't worry about the ones you don't get. Worry about the ones you get that can't play. Yeah. But let's talk about your position, that tight end position. If someone's got a tight end in their area, the area coach is going to evaluate them and say, hey, I like this guy, went into high school, watched his tape. These are the things I like about this guy. He'll send it to the tight end coach. Tight end coach likes him, it goes to the coordinator. The coordinator likes him, it goes to me. Then I'll make the final decision. And I probably agree with probably 80% of them. Yeah. But there's, maybe 70% of them. And there's another 10 that I'll kind of go either way on. And then there's 20 that I'm like, man, I don't like it. I don't see what you guys are seeing. Yeah. And I'm very consistent. I always feel it's a consistency in the evaluation. That, like, this is the standard. And, when we got, rankings from 1 to 10, we're going to rank a guy on different categories of whether it's, tight end, his blocking ability, his, ability after a catch, what are their hands like? And we try to evaluate that. And I got my stand. Nobody's getting a 10, okay, and probably nobody's getting a 1. But if there's someone exceptional with something, and we get overall grades and we get a point total on these guys. So it's really, really detailed. And that's hard to do. And we're not recruiting stars. It's too many people recruit stars.
You don't just follow the 247 rankings?
Yeah, I mean, and you'd be amazed. The lazy man's recruiting is just recruit stars. Yeah. And your recruiting class may look really good on a piece of paper, but what are you going to do with it later on? I'll never forget 2004, our first class at Cincinnati was ranked 86th in the country, and we had 8 guys drafted off that class. Wow. That's doing it the right way. Yeah. And it's the same thing. I think they re-ranked our 2018 class. Was that correct, DJ? And it got ranked 9th in the country when it was like, I don't know, in the 50s. I don't even remember. It was like, but they re-ranked what happened to them, and it's like that's the same thing that happened at Cincinnati. But it's evaluating and it's also developing. Getting guys that fit in your system.
Real quick, I want to let you in on a secret of how I keep my face so clean. Our sponsor, Caldera Lab, has changed the game for me with their skincare products. Skincare isn't just for girls anymore, it's for the guys too. And if you're not on the skincare trend, what are you doing? I was never a big lotion guy until I got a little bit older. I'm 28 now. You gotta take care of the skin. Caldera Lab came to my rescue and I've never felt better. I love Caldera Lab and now you can too at calderalab.com/AdamB for 20% off.